Well, yeah, I said you left if I have to.
No.
Skirt! Oh!
Today we're going to talk about how to play chess and how it relates to the world. Yes.
Now you said. King said right.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Vertical Church podcast. And
You smell good.
thank you, I appreciate that.
As opposed to.
As opposed to normal.
Well, listen.
As
Anytime,
opposed to, we won't
anytime
talk
my
about
first
that.
offense or my first
Impression.
on somebody is like not negative on scent wise, I'm super down for it.
It's because you went to the dentist.
Yeah, I did want to smoke after the dentist. I remember the first time somebody ever, like in a pastoral sense, ever told me I didn't smell good. And this is not ugly or meant towards negative towards them. Remember Jenna?
Yes.
Hi Jenna, if you watch this, I do love you. The first time anybody ever said anything, I'd done a whole day of youth group.
Oh wow.
In the summer.
Okay.
I was in my office cleaning up, and she came in and got a hug, and she hugged me. She's like, "You need a shower." I'm like, "Thank you."
Yes, I do.
I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm super sweaty," and but it's whatever. But thank you for telling me I smell good.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Dentist appreciate it.
My dentist appreciate it. Yeah. My dentist is
I used to like to eat Oreos before I went to the dentist.
Dude, I am so opposite of that. I personally don't ever want the dentist to have like anxiety or stress because I'm in there. So I always
Make sure your teeth are clean, floss,
sparkly
all
clean,
ready to go.
as clean as they need to be.
The only time you floss is on the day you go with the dentist.
I floss 3 times a day.
Do
So.
you?
Yeah.
3 times a day.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
I thought I was doing good if I did 1 time a day.
when I wake up after lunch and before I go to bed, just because. Listen, man, I've had enough dental issues. I don't ever want dental issues again.
So before you go to bed and when you get out of bed, so you eat at night unknowingly?
I had that thought, but apparently sometimes with whatever goes on in my mouth at night, something will come loose. There'll be a mystery thing. I'll eat a spider. I don't know. But I do have floss when I wake up. But also if there's plaque buildup, Welcome to the dental podcast.
We're talking about chess and dentist.
But
That's the topic.
yeah, chest and dentist.
Got my little horsey.
Do you know what that piece is called?
Yes.
It's called
What
the
is it?
night.
Night.
I just learned that this is called the night.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to be talking about, first of all, this is going to be our last podcast until the fall, just because we know what our summers are like, and we know what y'all's summers are like, and we're not expecting you to, do everything all the time, so we don't expect you to have time to watch us sit around, and the likelihood of us being able to sit around between now and the fall isn't crazy likely either. But just so you know, too, when you see us do these podcasts, we spent like 2 hours praying before this, so
We do real spiritual stuff before we do this project.
yeah, which is why
Hector's trying to say.
we're not always just talking about good sense and horsies.
Excuse me. Oh God.
Bless you.
Did you work in the yard this week?
Oh God. I'm got on
All right,
some freezers.
Well, she said like 3 times at the beginning. So today we're going to be talking about what it looks like heading into our summers and what our summers mean for us and ministry opportunities for the summer and stuff like that. So just to ask you this, what were your summers like as a kid, as a teenager, and was there ever anything that was actually spiritually impactful for your summers?
When I was a kid?
Yeah, when you were a kid, did you have a spiritual input when you were a kid?
No.
Anything?
Not at all. I didn't even go to vacation Bible school as a kid.
I didn't either, actually.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, I was there. We would go eat.
Well, that's not all the way true. I've been to our vacation Bible schools back in the day were during the weekday, not at night. So that might be one of them. So I did a couple of times when I was little. I remember the really stale cookies and the punch that they would give you.
The cookies that are shaped like a flower?
Yes.
Yeah, with
Yes.
finger
Flour
on it.
cookies.
The finger
And
flower
the colored
cookies.
punch. That was like
Yeah.
the highlight.
We had good food at VBS.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, if you're talking about Berea always had good VBS food. The hot dogs, the Yeah, man. It was,
Wow.
we had full dinner.
Yeah.
But I never went to BBS as a kid. I was like my mid to late teens before I ever got involved. And I honestly don't think I ever got involved in BBS because by the time I was a teenager, I went straight to camp.
Right.
So it would be,
So your summers were taken up with camp.
Yeah, I don't want to bring everybody down, but we had a traumatic experience at probably one of the last VBS I went to. I had a classmate who choked on a hot dog and died
Oh my goodness.
at church
Whoa.
at VBS.
Wow.
It was tragic for the whole community. I mean, it was.
That is tragic.
How
Holy
old
cow.
was
I think 6th grade, something
Wow.
like 5th or 6th grade.
Wow.
Holy moly.
And so they cut out hot dogs in the whole community for VBS for quite a while.
I can understand that.
Good gracious.
I mean, it's just crazy. It just popped right in my head as soon as you said VBS somewhere. It's like, yeah.
So you don't have
My
one of
friend,
them
yeah,
excuses.
she died from choking on a hot dog.
Wow.
Don't bring me down.
Get out, everybody! No, but that's stuff's real.
And
And
I feel like we should pray after that.
Right?
anytime you're bringing a group of kids together for ministry, like there's always there's always those chances of something
Yeah.
traumatic, and you never want it to be you.
Right.
So what?
But it does happen. Mike, what about you? Do you have any like spiritually impactful stuff?
Not at all. I just was a kid that stayed at home, played video games, hung out with friends till schools came back.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad was a farmer, so we worked a lot in the summer. But he did make sure, I mean, we went to church. It was not, to me, it wasn't a spiritual exercise. It was just what was expected.
Yeah.
You go to church on Sunday, when the VBS, we would go at least a couple of days. make your craft and have some food. So when I became a Christian and started working in VBS, it was like, okay, this should really be spiritually impactful for these kids because it never was for me. So how do you do that? And it seemed like since these things were kind of entrenched, you do this is how you do VBS. It was just continued on even as an adult. It was just like, okay, this is how we're going to do this. You get your little package and you decorate, you sing, and you have a good week, and then the next week it's like, oh, that's gone. You go back, it's like, it's going to be a great summer. Yeah. Started out with a vacation Bible school, and then the rest of the summer was just flat.
This wasn't for me as a kid, but as a serving in a pastoral capacity, it always kind of like made me side eye the whole situation that you could get like 40 million volunteers for VBS,
Don't make me go there.
but like none the rest of the year. But that's like, but I can't even remember my childhood summers like other than just playing in the backyard or playing, with my friends down the street or whatever. So like, summer was never a spiritually impactful time for me as a kid. I think my first like impactful summer was after I'd gotten saved. My youth pastor was a missionary with CBM before Camp Grace was out. So Camp Grace didn't exist yet, and they would do VBSs at local churches. Or not VBS, but they would do a day camp at local churches throughout the county. So I think my first summer, we went to Prospect United Methodist, did a VBS out of their building.
Big Prospect.
Yeah, we did Prospect United Methodist. We did East Lumberton, and we did, which is fun. Like I still have like flashbacks of that, like when I'm at my house now. We did East Lumberton, and we did a 10-mile, and those were like my first spiritual summer was doing that. And so with y'all, did y'all have any places once you got a little older, teenage wise? You said for your VBS stuff, do you have any ministry you were doing as teenagers during the summer?
Well, my first experience with summer ministry took place when I was in college. The church that Karen went to, where I met her, and we kind of sparked our relationship. The pastor there, they would do two real big events. One would be Vacation Bible School, and man, they would go all out, whole hog. I mean, it was just really awesome environment. In fact, probably the most fun Vacation Bible School I've ever been a part of was at this church. And then they would do a summer camp, but rather than take kids to a camp with other churches, they would go and they would rent a camp, kind of like a Camp Grace. They would rent it for the week, and then they would take their whole church group to that for the week. And so it was neat how they set that up. And so they kind of organized their own camp. But I thought it was pretty awesome, and so I had a chance to serve at that. So that's really where I first got, hey, summers can be spiritual.
Okay.
For me, so yeah.
On that was for so when I was 16 was the first summer I did the day camp stuff. I from 16 up until like 2020 when everything was shut down, that was the first time I didn't have a summer filled with camp.
Oh wow.
Because I went from
16 until 2020.
yeah.
You probably didn't know what to do with yourself.
I didn't. Hey Kelly, we love you and we're praying for you too, by the way.
Yeah.
Glad you're back home. You're back home, right? Isn't he back home? Somebody told me he was back home. Is he back home yet?
We'll find out. Kelly, let us know if you're
He
back
should
home.
respond, yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, like I went from day camp to camp counseling, like at Grace in Alabama and Tennessee and Florida. I spent 4 summers touring as a camp counselor to learn, and then once I did that, like it was running camp for 10 summers, and then once I got done, I was speaking at camps. So it's just like then came Comic Cons.
So your summer ministry was very busy.
Summer, like outside of 2020,
Yeah.
summer is always my busiest season. Like it feels like for whatever reason, summer and October
Summer and October.
are the busiest times of my life. And when it comes to ministry level, just like in even last summer, because it was like everybody was like peeking their head out the ground to see like, are we alive now? Are we cool?
Can we come out?
Yeah, and like last summer, Kelly got home last night, and because he's tougher than a $2 steak, that's what he says.
Tougher than a $2 steak.
You tough one, boy.
Yes, you got some of that McFoley fortitude. But for me, like summer, like has always been that. Like even last summer when coming back, I spoke at 4 camps, in like Pittsburgh, 2 weeks in Alabama, a week in Florida, and then 2 weeks here. And it was like, and then some Comic Con. So it's just like summer's always like been a lot for me, but that's the thing. The other thing, I think I overdo it, and like I've said no to a couple camps this summer because I don't want to be gone that much.
My kids probably would be able to talk about this because I became a Christian. I was 34. All my kids, let's see, Seth at that time, Seth was 3, so he was the baby. But then summer became summer missions, and we started organizing at my old church these youth mission trips. And so for, I guess, 10 or 12 years, that was what our summer was about. It was organizing, preparing, fundraising to go spend a week at World Changers. And we all over North, South Carolina, Virginia, we did missions. So those summers were very spiritual impact for me and hopefully for all those kids that went, because at some point we would take 20 kids on a summer mission, and 5 or 6 adults, and it was a big deal for our church. I mean, we had to rent 2 vans. We ended up buying a trailer just to haul luggage. So it impacted the whole church because of those summer missions. And I think some of those kids now who are adults are leading some ministries. And so did it pay off? I hope so. I think it did. It grounded them into understanding about serving, but it was, more than just that week. And that was really the impact that we tried to make was, hey, yeah, we're going to wait for a week. We're going to serve people all week in the heat. We're doing construction. I mean, almost every one we went on was a construction thing. So it was very intense and energy zapping for the week, sleeping in a church on the floor or in a gym or something like that. But now they see that serving is not just that week. So I think those kids are, especially I know my kids, I think they got grounded in understanding about serving during those summers. Yes.
I know there's a lot of folks that did the summer mission vibe with that as well. Jeff Lloyd, hey Santana, Jeff Lloyd did World Changers all the time and camp, so he was always a mix of both, him and his kids growing up. Jeremy Sessoms, that's part of our Lumberton location stuff. He was a big part of World Changers over with Zion Hill, and he's probably going to be the one heading up stuff like that for us, like moving forward, of like making sure, because like one of the first real conversations we had was about, hey, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And because that's the thing, when my mindset is all camp, like other stuff like that's just like, what? No, we have camp. That's its own thing. And then for like you grew up in like youth group where you went to like Caswell as a church, but that was your
So my summers as a child, I started going to Camp Caswell like in second grade, I think it was, and I went all the way through probably 10th grade. My childhood summers was really between playing ball, Camp Casual, VBS, and then working with our family. But I wouldn't say my summers weren't spiritual. Obviously, I had 2 weeks of, 1 week of VBS and 1 week of casual. Casual. Well,
Was it casual?
You're saying casual.
He's like
casual.
Was it
It's
casual?
just
or
Caswell.
Casual.
It was
Caswell.
pretty casual sounds.
My bad.
I go to Camp Casual, not camp formal, Camp Casual.
All of y'all. But anyway, I wouldn't say my summers were not spiritual. They were, and because I was also at church every Sunday too. So, casual was good though. I enjoyed casual.
He's just saying it more now so he can sound it right.
Yeah, but I did enjoy casual though. But I didn't have my first like pastoral summer thing until we went. I can't remember what camp we went to a couple of years ago. Brandon and KB and those guys got it together.
Oh, their summer retreat thing?
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. That was the first time as as a leader of any sort, being a part of that. That was pretty cool.
Well, you were in my first group I did at Caswell.
Yeah.
As a kid.
My casual experience was good. I got in a lot of trouble with casual.
You did.
I did, but it was good. It was good.
Gangsta.
Mike, what's your summer ministry life been like?
I'd say like after I got saved around like I was like 17 or 18, like starting to realize what following Jesus looked like, and in college starting to plug into like mission trips and stuff like that, going to New York and places like that, and that was really.
Oh yeah, you did that summer thing in like the Bronx, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
The internship.
Yeah, and you and Alex did that.
And that was after college, but yeah, that was an interesting 2-month experience.
Yeah. That was your first year out of college, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or maybe
I think
it might have been my second.
may have been. Okay.
We were just getting started though.
Yeah.
And then that one summer we sent our interns to Ohio for
Columbus.
That was my first.
that was your first.
That was your
First
first one.
summer
Okay.
after college.
Gosh, all the years are running together.
I know, right?
And Elizabeth Grove says that she used to take her kids to Caswell too. Speaking of just like some summer stuff with us, like how we did, we have an intern for this summer. His name's Nick Golden. Nicholas Golden. If you were at, if you've been at our Pembroke location, you've met Nick. If you had kids at Camp Grace last summer, you met Nick.
Yeah.
If you were at the Elizabethtown Christmas Shindig, Nick was one of our singers there. Nick's been part of Echo. He's been on our Echo worship team.
Nick.
I've seen him do a lot of good stuff in our area, but Nick's going to be our intern this summer. And I think I could say this with no malice, but we've sucked at internships in the past. Like, not all the time. Like, not every time we
Well, a
suck.
lot of us, we've been figuring it out as we've been going along.
Summer
Yeah.
internship.
Yeah.
Summer internships. We've
Mhm.
like because I remember my first summer on staff.
Yeah.
We had KB, you,
Yeah.
and
Who else?
Sarah.
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 And I know Lyric went on the trip. Was Lyric a
No.
No,
no?
that was after.
Aaron.
Aaron Barnhart.
Yeah.
Barnhart.
Uh,
Yeah.
And you know, that's the thing. Like when we're figuring out what we're doing, it's not always the best because like here, you know, this
Trial and error.
If KB watches this, hi KB. KB was already a solid leader, so there wasn't a lot for me to give her
Yeah.
when I'm starting a new church position because she already knew more than what I was doing. And then we had Preston one summer too, but I think Preston was more than a summer intern. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
either way, like
It is.
we've had some different summer interns. We've had Jamie in the past, stuff like that. But
Mhm.
we're really hoping to do a good stint this summer with Nick. So you're going to see Nick around the different locations in different areas. At some point, you're going to see Nick involved with stuff that we're doing, with worship, with just a lot of different areas. So if you've got some valuable wisdom as a congregation or as people involved that you want to pass on to our summer intern, go ahead and start getting that ready because we're good.
Starts next week.
Starts next week. Is there any specific goals or anything that we have for him or anything for?
It's this for him. He just graduated from UNCP. Congratulations, Nick. And he doesn't really have a plan, but he feels called to ministry. So we're going to do a couple of different things with him in leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just hoping that during this time, through learning in the internship, through prayer, that God will lead him in the direction that he wants him to go. And so he's opening himself up for the summer. Say, God, show me, where you can use me in ministry. Personally, we want him in worship because he's a fantastic musician and singer.
Mhm.
But is that where God wants him? So that's what we're going to try to discover this summer.
As a board member for Camp Grace, I was actually really sad we're getting him as an intern here because I really liked him as a camp counselor at Camp Grace last summer.
Yeah.
Like, watching him interact with my kids and everything else. So I was just being selfish because I was like, I was going to be grumpy one way or the other. Because, like, I'm pretty sure I told him when I saw him at camp last summer, I was like, man, you'd be great working with us at church. And now he's working, I'm like, oh no, go back to camp.
That's funny.
But Santana says she would have loved to have been an intern. Santana, we would have loved for you to be an intern too. And Lord ever brings you back, you'll probably be a church planner by then. But either way, holler. And we'd love to have you.
We can work with that too.
Yeah, we can work for that too.
She's coming back as staff. What you talking
Yeah,
about?
she's coming back on staff when she comes back. Also, like on some summer mission stuff, like outside of what you did with World Changers, do you ever have any other like mission trips in the summer or anything?
Really, we really work with the youth. I was one of the youth leaders. There was about 6 of us who were parents who were volunteering, to help with these groups of people. But I've never gone on an adult mission trip, and I always wanted to try to coordinate that. But of course, all the adults at that time were willing to go. Went on the youth mission. You just can't take 2 or 3 weeks off in the summer and go do things. I mean, people who have jobs. So most of these parents were teachers, so they were available during the summer. So it was a little bit more convenient as how they could schedule things. But yet, that was a lot of my summer mission stuff was just being a youth leader.
I ended up my first summer mission trip. I think we did something when I was in youth group before my youth pastor got involved. I think I did a mission trip to a church in Pennsylvania to renovate, but I was horrible at it, and I just remember it being terrible. But I remember I just remember I wasn't helpful. But the Amish had good cheese. That's all I took away from that.
Good cheese.
I got some fresh Gouda in Amish country, and all the names around Amish country in Pennsylvania were like inappropriate.
Yes.
And so sitting in the youth group van, giggling at all the names. Like one of the names in Amish country in Pennsylvania is intercourse.
Yeah.
One of them is like fuzzy bottom or peach bottom, and like we're just in the back of the van, like. But like my first adult summer mission trip, I I ended up on it by accident because Pastor Chris at Berea got thrown off his horse into a telephone pole.
Wow.
And he was leading a summer mission trip to the Navajo reservation in New Mexico to basically do a VBS camp. And he got thrown off the horse. He's like, "Tag, you're it."
Oh wow!
I'm like,
You
"No."
got thrusted into it.
Like literally, and I wasn't young, but I was young. I barely must have been 30.
You were young.
And so like I had adults way older than me, and I'm trying to like lead this whole trip, and I'm like,
It wasn't intimidating at all.
like there's a couple of adults involved in it that I respect highly. They're both high level leaders, but they're both like had 20 years on me, and we were in the middle of New Mexico, and I had to pull them into a closet and say, "Listen, you're making it really hard to lead, and I don't want to bust on you in public, but I can't fight you, so please help follow what I'm leading." And that's just like, and I start crying, and I'm like, "Please stop making it so hard to lead you." And it's like, we had a plan in place, and they were trying to change the plan. I'm like, "Please stop. Please, I can't do this."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like having a breakdown about it. And they're like, "Oh, we're so sorry. We're so sorry." They were cool. Like after that talk, but it was like, it's hard to lead a group of people across the country to do something like that. And it was a great experience. And Pastor Philip was on that trip then as well. And so it was. He and I built a mechanical bull in the desert. We built one, bro. It was super awesome.
Wow.
We used a
Jesus
cart.
bull.
Huh?
That's Jesus bull.
No, they just wanted a mechanical bull to spin the kids around on. And
That's funny.
we built we took a car axle, buried it in the New Mexico dirt, which is like freaking concrete.
Yeah.
We buried it at least halfway in the dirt, and fastened a steel drum wrapped in carpet to that axle, and you would just spin it.
Oh wow.
And it was at an angle, so you'd be like, "Whoa." And yeah, these kids getting thrown off.
That's probably still there.
It's still there.
It is?
We went in 2019, Danielle and I, and it was still in there. In fact, I put my kids on it.
That's crazy.
Well, like 11 years later, it was still there.
You did a good job.
Yeah. But that was my one real summer mission trip. But we've got one coming up for our mission team that Lyric is heading up. And I know there's a lot of other people involved in it, and I don't mean to like not name you, but I know this was Lyric's baby. Like
She's leading. She's putting it together.
She put it together. So when you hear us talking about this new Arizona mission trip, because I've said New Mexico a lot,
Yeah.
from my own experience. When you hear us talking about this Arizona mission trip, Lyric came to us and said, "I want to do this. Help. Can we do?" Like she didn't ask for my help to do it per se, but like she wanted our support, and we've done. I think we've done well supporting with it, and we really believe in it. But we've got a team of 7 people from our congregation that's going to New Mexico July.
Arizona, July
Arizona.
9th through the 16th.
And so they're going to Arizona to do that, and
That's right.
but it's the same people group, just a different state line.
Yeah.
They're going to the Navajo Nation to do that, and I'm really proud of them, man. They've done such a good job, and that's what this mission trip. Elizabeth Grove says Lyric is the team mom, and she's doing an amazing job. But like if you see, like we got some envelopes up here, just like y'all got something in E-Town. I haven't seen Pembroke's, but like we've got all these envelopes for people to sponsor to be able to pick one. So if you want to make this like one of those like shady Facebook Live things where people pledge money or whatever, if you call out an envelope number and pledge it, we'll pull it down. But we've had these available. Can I get somebody for the 46 envelope?
God bless
Number
you.
46 has your name and anointed on it.
A couple numbers up here still need to be claimed.
Yeah, all these numbers need to be claimed in the name of Jesus. They really do, though. We've been raising money for it. There's been a lot of good stuff. We've done a car wash. We've had the envelope thing.
They got a plate sale this Friday, tomorrow.
They have a plate sale tomorrow. They're cooking it on shout out to Lumberton Fire Department, Rescue Squad. Who's the ones right beside Sonic?
Rescue
Squad.
Squad.
Rescue Squad. Lumberton Rescue Squad is letting us cook there but we're going to have the plates available for pickup from 12 to 2:30. Sounds right. Elizabeth's on here; she can correct me. We're going to have the plates here at the Lumberton location from 12 to 2:30. But also, if you want to go ahead and buy a ticket for those, if you want to be involved in that, go ahead. Hit up a Lyric here, Elizabeth, John, Anita, any of those folks that are going. But that's the reality. Is like when Lyric looked at her summer, she said, "I want to go on this trip. I want to do something fruitful. I want to do something that's going to minister to people. I want to do that." But I feel like for us, a lot of us, like we kind of just check out spiritually when it comes to summer stuff. Like for me, like I said, summer's my busy time, so that's not my checkout time. But on all fairness, it's my church checkout time. Like just on being critical of my own self, because like,
Well, it's the summer and people travel and it's a time to unwind and do things that you don't normally do. You get out of routine. For me, one of the struggles has been the fact I'm a routine person, and so summer kind of knocks things out of routine, and so that can sometimes hinder you spiritually if you don't keep some kind of routine to keep connected with God. And so I think a lot of people struggle with that. I know Mike and I have talked about that in the past. Just the need to keep that focus during the summer. Take some time off, but don't take some time off from Jesus, right? Don't be retreating from Him. Yep.
Wow. We can make a sermon out of that somehow.
Yes.
Don't
Probably need
retreat
to.
from Jesus.
Don't retreat.
I remember a couple years ago, years are running together right now.
by the way, yesterday was my 7-year anniversary working here.
7 years.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Just don't interrupt me no more.
Oh, cut me off again.
Sorry.
Cut me off, man. No, but I remember a couple years. I think it was our first year. Was it our first year or second year? We did the fast during the summer. We did it for a week.
Gosh.
I can't remember what year it was,
Yeah,
but
I
that
can't
was
remember
that. I used the word weird.
Yeah.
It was a weird thing to do.
I think we did that kind of like as a staff.
We did. It wasn't a whole church thing.
Right. It was a staff
Yeah.
fast during the summer.
I think I missed it because I was king.
But it was probably after the year that we took a retreat from Jesus.
Yeah.
And we came back and said, we need to
Yeah.
dial in. So yeah.
But that was I use the word weird because it was like I'm used to pulling back, I guess you would say, during the summer. Not like back away from church or anything, but it's like you just feel like more relaxed, go on vacations, things like that, and then boom, let's do a fast for it.
Yeah.
I think what I've seen over the last few summers, and I mean not just these few, but everybody kind of, you pull back a little bit because the expectation is everybody else is pulling back.
Yeah.
Your congregants, well, the kids are out of school, they're off on
Everybody's on
doing
vacation.
things, they're doing,
Yeah.
so we kind of dial it back a little bit because we figured they are, which is not necessarily true.
Yeah.
Even though, well, this family may go on vacation, there's 5 more families that aren't going. Next week, that family's going. So it's not like they all leave at once,
Right.
you know. And I know I do personally. It's just like, okay, that's the expectation. We're going to have low numbers in church. You kind of dial it back a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're less spiritual about what we're doing. It's just
But the tendency,
is to dial it back.
Yeah. I do think, well, that's not what I think. I loved when we were doing at the movie series during the summer.
Dude, Elizabeth just messed. I don't mean to interrupt you.
Oh my God.
Just cut him off again.
Hey,
Oh, it's
7
just because
years.
you're talking about the movies. Elizabeth just messaged me yesterday about how much she missed the at the movie series and how
enjoyed those.
impactful it can be
Which
for the community.
Elizabeth? We have a bunch.
I'm sorry. Odom.
Yeah, we do have a bunch of Elizabeth.
You got to clarify your Elizabeths.
Yeah. But I do miss that. I mean, obviously we're not doing it this summer, but I think it was just something fresh, and we were making it, applicable to the summer and what was in theaters at that time or the year before. But it was something that was fresh. It was something that, people could look forward to. And we got to dress up at different times and create buildings and atmospheres and have popcorn parties.
Well, in my Facebook memories last night, there was a picture of Audrey Grooms dressed like Wonder Woman with a teeny tiny Rosa dressed like Wonder Woman.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, at the movies.
At the movies.
Those were fun. And, you know, who knows?
We'll do them again.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
we
Here's the
we-
thing. Sundays are always coming,
And there's always new
and there's
movies.
always a next year,
Yep.
right? And so, yeah,
Unless Jesus says,
unless Jesus
Jesus comes back.
But maybe next
Then y'all
summer,
do it without me.
maybe next summer we'll be in the movie series. Who knows?
Now, but Mike, what about you? Have you got any like big summer reflections or anything for ministry? I don't want to cut you off because it's just
Oh
quiet.
no, you're good.
He's gonna cut you off anyway. So.
No, just you, Blair.
It's been usually lately summers have been like a time to kind of dial back and prepare for college ministry in the fall, and also be there for interns and stuff like that. And so it's kind of the same thing for me this summer.
So for you, there is kind of a natural pullback because most of the students you minister to are
Yeah.
going home for the summer, except for if you have some interns. So
Mhm.
that temptation's even greater for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you were mentioning too, Tim. You know, like a lot of your people that did your mission trips at church were teachers and stuff. Like John, he's like, hey, I don't have stuff to do. Put me to work. And I just realized maybe John could be an intern too. I don't know, but I don't know if you need him for college, but we can put him to work. But
Whip him.
you know, it's that thing of like people are going to be available at different seasons, and I think on a pastoral level, we have to make sure that it's the thing we say: don't ever say no for people.
Yes.
And we may not say no for people, but the summer as a leadership level puts us in the place of just assuming people aren't going to care
Yeah.
because it's nice outside.
When there's summer could be a great opportunity for people to have more availability,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but we don't seize that because we're in a retreat mode sometimes.
Well, that's like the last time I led worship here was like 3 years ago, and it was a Sunday where like I'm leading worship up there, and I had to leave early to get to a camp in Alabama, and so I remember like it was the last time I led worship, and I was just like running off stage, unplugging stuff. People are still trying to do things, and I'm like, I gotta go to the next thing. It's like on the flip side, sometimes we still do too much because we're trying to do too many different things, and to realize that if your family time puts you somewhere else, or you have commitments during the summer, don't overdo yourself too with it. If you got availability and you want to plug in different ways, do so.
Absolutely.
So with that, Santana says that her first year of Vertical was that at movie series, and talking about the boys dressed up as Star Wars. I've got that photo of like me and Jeremiah in Jedi robes or whatever in the hallway at the high school with that. So it was pretty cool.
Not the high school.
At the high school, yeah.
High school.
So for like we have the mission trip obviously coming up. That's one thing that's a big thing, and we're proud of our team. And Elizabeth said they've stopped selling plates because their goal was 80 and they've sold 200.
Sweet.
Wow.
That's what's up.
Thank you,
Right.
Lord. Yes.
and so that's great.
I'm about to run a lap.
Celebrate.
So
Somebody needs to get up and run a lap.
I was about to. My
but
glutes is hurt.
so that's good with that, and they may have some.
Well, our
extra-
church, they've gotten really good support. So kudos to all who have rallied around our mission team and those who have given, because this is a ministry opportunity. And when we participate by giving and supporting these people, man, you're going on the mission trip too.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to hear about how God's going to use them. And when they come back, we're going to let them share a little bit about what God did. So we're excited. So be praying for them. July 9th through the 17th.
Awesome. And we've also got our summer intern. We're not going to put out a ton of dates for it and stuff yet, or info for it yet, but we're doing August 21st.
Going to have a special summer event for the church, and looking forward to that. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
We'll have a family fun day / church worship. It's going to be good.
So in the middle of your end of summer vacation plans, you should go ahead and plan for Sunday morning, August 21st.
21st, yes.
You're going to want to be here
Mark that on your calendar.
for that, because we're going to have a good day.
Yeah, make sure, this is the one church event that we're gonna have everybody in the same place. So we're all going to come together, all 3 locations, to be together that day.
Yeah.
It just popped in my head the Sunday, S-U-N-D-A.
Hey. I think we have a name. Sunday.
We'll pray about it.
We'll pray about that.
We'll pray about it.
Okay, gotta be able to put a graphic with that.
Yeah. That's gonna be great. So we got that coming up. We have Father's Day coming up
Father's Day.
in 3 weeks.
3 weeks, 3 Sundays.
3 Sundays from
Yeah.
now.
We got a really cool Father's Day gift. You got yours on you? Here.
Oh.
Yeah, let's show it.
Yeah. So all our fathers.
So I'm going to show you. I actually have last Father's Day was this real cool knife.
That was a good night.
And this Father's Day, ooh,
Little pen light.
And like,
it's cool.
it's supposed to be waterproof.
Yeah.
Oh, it's waterproof too. Santana's gonna be home for Father's Day too. She just
Yes.
mentioned on here. So that's awesome. We get a neat little Father's Day thing with that. So we're gonna get to celebrate our fathers because our fathers need to be celebrated too.
Yes.
That's why they have it day.
I like to be celebrated.
Yeah. I'm always at camp or something on Father's Day, so it's whatever. With that, we are going to have some cool opportunities. Our youth are planning a lock-in for sometime in July, so keep an ear out for a few students are going to be planning a lock-in, and they're actually meeting about this Sunday. Also, Wizard of Oz is next week.
Wizard of
got my
Oz.
tickets.
You got your
Make sure
tickets?
you get your tickets to Wizard of Oz.
Wonderful.
So
And
watch Hector play the Cowardly Lion.
yeah, it's gonna be dope, dude.
I'm
But
just
if I
hoping you
live,
survive. That's my prayer.
well, it's they were talking about too because tonight is the Live After 5 or whatever, and they're talking about sending some of us out there in full costume.
Oh wow!
Oh, yeah,
No,
yeah,
please not.
yeah.
You're dead, homie.
The heat. Oh my
Dead.
gosh.
And it's like 100 outside.
Jeez.
Now I
Yeah.
think they're only sending Dorothy and Scarecrow, but
Don't volunteer for it.
Hopefully the Cowardly Lion's not in that.
but it's so
find a place to
if you want to
hide.
be part of that for your summer, that's next week. It's gonna be fun. But also there's a lot of good opportunities. So if you are still if you're not part of a small group, summer might be a good time to start one or to get involved
Yes.
with that. And we're gonna try and continue to do some stuff. We're actually looking at some stuff for you for E-Town. We're gonna try and get some summer activities, like paint parties, game nights type stuff out there in E-Town. And there's a lot of good opportunities. So I just want to encourage you, read some books this summer, listen to some podcasts. If you've got time this summer and there's areas you want to serve in the church that you can't serve the rest of the year, holler.
Let's talk about it.
Let's find some different ways to be creative. If you want to, Kelly wants me to sing "If I Were King of the Forest." You got to pay the money for that. You got to pay for that, player.
At least give him the voice.
No, man.
How about do
Okay.
put them up? Put them up.
Put 'em up. Put 'em up. Which one of you first? I'll fight you both together. I'll fight you with one paw tied behind my back. I'll fight you with my eyes closed. Like the whole thing is.
Love that. That's my favorite scene, by the way.
Oh, dude, just wait. Like we're doing
I'm
different.
excited.
We're doing different stuff with it because like he told us just to play with it. We got a lot of fun stuff with
That's
that.
gonna be good.
And Santana wants to talk about the fancy doors.
Fancy doors.
Out here.
Oh, has she seen them?
Yeah, I posted it on the team
Oh, did
page.
you? Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah.
So yeah, we got fancy
You got
doors.
fancy doors.
I haven't-
You have to come on Sunday to see it.
I haven't seen Pembroke. I don't know if they're up at Pembroke,
I don't know yet.
and I know that they're in the plans for E-Town. There's doors for everybody. but
Everybody's in the rotation. It's just a matter of scheduling at this point.
Yeah.
Um,
Lumberton has their doors. So.
But also too, once we get out of the summer, we're also planning another big kids Wonder Lab type thing coming up in September.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on, y'all, and
That's some exciting stuff.
and there's also gonna be a lot of opportunities to bless students going into the fall with Mike and Echo with stuff like that. So I just encourage you, if you look at your summer, don't just look at look at it as a time of rest, but also look at it as a time of what are some ways that you can actually invest in the kingdom outside of just your tan level.
And to stay intentional.
Stay intentional. Yeah, Santana, we miss you too, dude.
Well, we get to see her.
Yeah.
She's coming home
Yeah.
for a couple weeks.
But we're looking forward to just what God's going to do this summer and hold us. Oh, one thing I wanted to say too on summer. This is one of the things that I originally was talking about with doing this. Or two things now. Thank you. This Sunday we start our Kings and Kingdom series. Donnie doesn't know how to play chess, so if you want to take advantage of him,
chess.
you can teach him how to play chess and whip him up.
Yes.
We start a new series on Kings and Kingdoms. We're going through like Psalms, Proverbs, First and Second Kings, all that stuff.
My king takes your knight. I know that much.
It's like I just got to but one thing I do want to tell you, over communicate with your church family and staff during this time, because it is a stupid busy time, but it's also easily distracted. And so if you shoot any of us a message and we don't respond to you in a timely manner,
Shoot it again.
shoot it again. Don't take that as an offense. Don't take it as whatever, because I'm gonna be spending a week on a mountain in Alabama where I get signal once a day for 30 minutes.
And then there's vacations scattered in there for all of us at some point in time as well.
And I know there's it's been in the past too, like where somebody will think that we stopped caring about them because we missed something during the summer.
Yeah.
Please don't feel that way. And we are human and we make mistakes, but I promise it's not because we don't love you.
We are absolutely imperfect.
We are perfectly
Without a
imperfect. And,
Perfectly imperfect.
we're a hot mess, but at least we're a hot mess with like glitter and fireworks.
Yes.
But so please over communicate. Tyler says he loves this. He's out welding, so he can catch the whole thing. But he hopes we're having a great day. Tyler, we appreciate you, man, and we're grateful for you,
The
dude.
city of brotherly love.
That Tyler that you golf with?
Yeah, Tyler Quigg. Yeah.
Ready to golf with you, bro.
Yeah.
Just try this thing.
Yeah. Tyler, that means Donnie loves you more than me because he doesn't like golfing with me, but he.
That's not true. I have never said that.
That's because you took his horseman, bro.
That's because you took my night.
Took your night.
But also, if you like golf, Donnie's trying to put a golf ministry together for our
Yes.
church too.
Yeah.
So like
We're going to start a men's small group around golf. So
Golf is a 4-letter word.
we love it.
yeah.
And the way some of us play, we need that ministry time because we have to repent afterwards.
Yeah.
Or that.
That's why I said golf is a 4-letter word.
So like no, in all seriousness, Donnie is like putting some wheels to
Yes.
doing like a golf small group thing or ministry. So if golf is your thing too,
Hit us up.
Holler at us. You devil hornet.
Little devil horn.
I don't know what you did.
I'm not a crook.
It's like 40 years.
Nobody will know.
Nobody knows what that means unless you were born in the 70s.
But yeah, we love y'all, and we're looking forward to just how God's going to move this summer.
Yes.
So we'll check back in. We'll start our podcast back up in September-ish.
Hey, if you have a suggestion for lunch, we would love to take some in the comments right now because we always have a hard time.
No, dude, we're rolling the dice. It's going to be beautiful.
Oh, God. Well, I'm about to purse.
All right, but we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. And thanks. I'm going to awkwardly get up from this couch. Will you hold this coffee?
No.
Pray for our couches.
Pray for our-
You can come on in, dude. We're done. Bye, y'all.